Bills safety Damar Hamlin made a tackle and then collapsed, and they had to put him on oxygen and give him CPR, and then got transported via ambulance off the field. Bills player just had a heart attack on live TV. Not what happened. Wasn't a heart attack. It seemed to be the result of the impact. Quite a few people in chat said that it was a direct hit to his chest, which obviously is dangerous for the heart, but I don't think it was a heart attack. Looking at it from this other angle, it absolutely does look like a really hard hit to the chest. So I'm inclined to believe that's what it is. Damn, that sucks. Jesus Christ. Why suspend the game? Is that even a real question? They haven't decided yet. Yeah, I know they haven't. Right now I know both teams are in the locker room and they're discussing whether or not to continue. Yeah, no, this just happened right before I hopped on stream. Tiana told me about it. NFL is saying the game should continue. I don't really have a horse in the race on what the proper protocol should be here. I've usually erred on the side of if there's like an inactivity fatality, it's a pretty good excuse to suspend it, because obviously then no one's going to be focused on the game or the event. Example, when the WWE suspended that guy, I think his name was Ken Hart, blanking on his name, for one of their pay-per-view events or something, they had the guy suspended. The suspension broke, he fell and died on impact. They ended up continuing that event, and I still think that was tasteless. Owen Hart. Thank you, Owen Hart. Yeah, I don't know if this is reliable. I haven't seen this anywhere, but there's a decent chunk of people that keep saying he has a pulse but isn't breathing on his own as the latest update. I don't see that in any of these, but that's what chat keeps saying. Not that that's reliable, but worth mentioning. No, Logan Paul didn't release the video yet. He said he was going to release it today, but then didn't. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. That's what we've been talking about with the Bills safety. I saw a few people say they think this is going to lead to drastic rule changes. I'm going to tell you right now, it probably won't. NFL doesn't do shit. They don't do a great job, I agree. But I also think it's at a point where there's not a whole lot they can do because fans are already upset. Like, I see so many brain dead takes on Twitter about how helmet to helmet should be legal. They know what they signed up for. It's the risk they take, so they should be able to do full helmet to helmet, whatever, to get the job done. Like, they've already, like, legitimately dehumanized every football player, making it sound like it's the goddamn Roman Coliseum as opposed to a sport now. So I don't think there's anything the NFL can do now to make it, like, safer without even more outrage. It wasn't helmet to helmet. No, this wasn't. No, I know. Not with the Bills player. I'm saying, I'm just giving, like, a general Twitter take. No, it wasn't a helmet to helmet. It really wasn't at all. It just looks like really unfortunate placement on that impact since it went right to his chest. Like, hard to his chest. Jesus. That's awful, man. I remember, God, how many years now? It's been a long time since I've seen something like that in football. And the last time I saw that was in arena football. Wide receiver caught the pass, touchdown, got pushed, which is it was a legal play. It wasn't like a dirty hit. Got pushed while he was up in the air when he caught the ball, landed, and then he snapped his head on the padding at the back of the end zone. Killed him. I haven't seen like a legitimately potentially fatal situation in football since that. Yeah, it was arena football. I don't remember the player though. Yeah, he died from it. If he does die, do you think the other player would get charged? No, absolutely not. What? No, of course not. No, Logan didn't drop his response today like he said he would, so I'm guessing it's still coming tomorrow. Look at the Skip Bayless tweet. Here, actually, I'll just pull up all of them. We can read it together. I haven't read it yet. Who is Skip? Goddamn clown is what he is. Not exactly sure what happened to Damar Hamlin. Players on both teams are shaken. Ambulance out on the field. CPR administered. Can't remember play being stopped for this length of time. Just said a prayer for him and his family. Seen so many horrific injuries suffered on football fields, yet never have I seen a reaction like this. In every other situation I witnessed or covered, the game always went on fairly quickly. The attitude was, hey, that's football. For these players, this was different. No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of the game, but how? This late in the season? A game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. This isn't like the worst thing I've ever seen, especially not from Skip. He's a little too focused on the game itself as opposed to whether or not the player survives, but for Skip, I mean, Jesus, this is about the best his brain can cook up. Nah, I'm definitely not going to be pulling up the clip, obviously. I mean, that could be... It could be fatal right now. Apparently he has a pulse but can't breathe on his own at the moment. Apparently he also just got to the hospital. Yeah, I keep seeing people say that in chat about Ken Block. I haven't looked it up yet. Rally car driver Ken Block dead at 55, snowmobile accident. Holy shit, this happened at the exact same posting as the Damar Hamlin situation 26 minutes ago. What the fuck? What just happened? Was there like a blood sacrifice done on TikTok or something? Jesus Christ. What? He was in Utah snowmobiling. They're not giving any details about what happened, but yeah, they're confirming his death in a snowmobile accident. Jesus. Holy shit. Yeah, Jeremy Renner's in critical condition but stable, right? From the snowplow. Jesus, Damar Hamlin accident looks totally routine. Yeah, I mean, it's a big hit to the chest, but you never usually see something like that happen. It must have just got placed in a very unfortunate spot, like probably where the pads like meet on the chest, like right in between that, and just a direct hit to his heart. Damn, that fucking sucks. Holy shit. People on Twitter blaming it on COVID vaccines. Now you're falling for bait. The COVID vaccine gets blamed for a lot, but as for a Ken Block dying in a snowmobile accident and Damar Hamlin getting hit in the goddamn heart, that's his bait. Internal bleeding, his ribs piercing the heart. No, do you not... You guys have never seen or heard about those things happening? If you get hit hard enough in the chest, you can just die from it. Pretty quickly, too. I don't know, like, the exact anatomical explanation for how it all plays out, but if you take a big impact to your chest, you can just straight die, like, almost immediately. There's that blunt trauma. You hear Dana White assaulted his wife. I actually saw that tweet right before going live. I don't know anything about it, but I saw that he said it was regretfully the result of alcohol why he and his wife got physical or something at New Year's. So I don't know what the fuck that was. I'll look it up in a minute. It's called Commodio cordis. We see it in the ER every once in a while. The blunt trauma to the chest causing the I don't even know, heart explosion. Like I don't even know how it works really. The heart doesn't explode, it just stops. Jesus. Yeah, but I don't think that's what usually happens, T-Chon. As far as I know, you can have your heart get pierced by the extrusion on the breastplate of the rib cage that if hit hard enough could break or bend into the heart or around that region. Like, I'm sure that's a very real thing. I imagine that's something that can happen in car accidents. But in a hit like that, I don't necessarily think that's what happens. That's usually a lot more force than a hit. They're continuing the game. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what the right call is there. I legitimately couldn't tell you. All I can say is that in the past, when something like that's happened, it's usually rubbed me the wrong way when it comes to continuing. I mentioned the Owen Hart thing with wrestling, though this one's a little different, I suppose, because of this being like a big important game, I guess. I think this one's to clinch the division or something, and it, like, he may be all right. I don't know. I can kind of see both sides here. Oh, this is only a chance for a 1 seed? I thought this was to make it, not to make it, to clinch, though. Hold on, let me look it up. Why don't I just look it up? Because I know the Bills and Bengals have great records right now. Yeah, Bills 12-3, Bengals 11-4. Can't they move it to another day? Nah, that I doubt. That seems very hard to do. You have to schedule the arena, book it all out. Like, that's a lot of moving parts. But if both teams are already guaranteed a spot in the playoffs, I mean, I could see an argument for not continuing than just going by the better record. I don't know. Are they both in the AFC North? No, Bills are AFC East. Yeah, I just read about Ken Block as well. When was the last time someone died in a football game? Like I said, the only one that I know of was probably over a decade ago, and it was Arena Football League. How about this? I also remember a college football player who, on a kickoff, went for, I think it was a block. He delivered a great block, and he paralyzed himself instantly. But outside of that, in the arena football player, I don't think there's been any. Well, in 1905, there was one. Here, how about NFL? Because I don't think there's ever been an NFL on-field football death. Chuck Hughes. Chuck Hughes was an American football player, a wide receiver in the NFL from 1967 to 1971, and he is, to date, the only player to have died on the field during a game. The Lions hosted the Bears at Tiger Stadium late in the fourth quarter, Detroit trailing 28-23. Lions were driving into Chicago territory, and Hughes entered the game as an injury replacement. Caught a pass for 32 yards, and three plays later, Landry threw a pass to tight end Charlie Sanders, dropped near the end zone. Hughes, a decoy for the play, began running back to the huddle with 1 minute showing on the clock. Suddenly, he dropped to the turf, clutching his chest around the 20-yard line. Hughes collapsed near the Bears linebacker Dick Butkus, who saw him begin to convulse violently on the field. Butkus motioned to the sideline frantically to get Hughes assistance. He was pronounced dead at 5:34 p.m. that afternoon. The game was played to its conclusion in front of the now stunned silent crowd at Tiger Stadium. He was suffering from an undiagnosed and advanced arteriosclerosis, and that he had a family history of heart disease. The direct cause of death was coronary thrombosis. You don't see this kind of injury in any other sport. Well, I mean, you can... I get the point you're trying to make, but you still see plenty of comparably horrible injuries that happen in other sports as well. Like hockey. Chat immediately went to hockey. Shit, in hockey there's been 2 cases of people having their fucking throat slit by the skates. There's that very famous clip now where the goalie gets collided with by 2 players, I think it was, and one of them, their skate went up and sliced his fucking net. Like, cut his jugular. I think it was his dad. His dad had to pinch his arteries together in order to save his life. Might not have been his dad. Might have been just the actual team medic. I don't remember now. I'm very foggy on it. But you see comparably horrible injuries in other sports as well. That's not to defend NFL and the way they cover up concussions and all that shit. But I'm just saying, this isn't like isolated. Every sport has their risk of very serious injury. It was a trainer, was it? Yeah, like I said, I was a little spotty on it. Oh, you know who it was that did something very similar and was their dad? It was Kentucky Ballistics when his rifle exploded. It severed his jugular, right? I think it was his jugular. It severed something very important in his neck, and his dad had to pinch it for him, and then on the way to the hospital, Kentucky Ballistics took over. I got the wires crossed. He put a thumb in it. Yep. But his dad took over first, right? Didn't his dad pinch it, and then on the way to the hospital, he told Kentucky Ballistics to do it himself so that way he could drive? Wasn't that it? That was the story, right? No, he did it himself, but on the way to the hospital. His dad was the one that rushed over. But yeah, on the way to the hospital, Kentucky put his thumb in it and held it down. I remember he told the story about his family and like how he had to like push it into his neck like with his other arm like really tight. They did decide to cancel the game. Probably for the best.